Hey, how y'all doing? Okay, this is an extension of a conversation that I was having with someone, and it had to do with um, being disappointed about people, the way they act, ideas that people think join them, and they put trust in that are earthly by nature. And so when that person, because they're a human being, makes some kind of an error of some sort, that that it falls apart, and then hopes are dashed, and that kind of thing. So you can think of it in terms of being from a certain country, or being from a certain school, or being from a certain town or side of town, or there are these odd concessions and stereotypes and ideas that people will get in their head over those as being descriptors instead of the individual that provides them with the information of whom you're going to trust, or whom you're going to um, try to form some sort of an alliance while you're both trying to achieve something together. This is where treachery happens, like in school or in professions, or like in offices. If you've trusted someone, and then they use the information against you, or without you having taken it, or these kinds of things. And when you've placed any kind of trust in a person for confidentiality, or for assistance, or whatever the case may be, being that they're human, they may or may not be able to keep that promise to you that they've made, if they've made that promise, or any way that you view that person, and sort of imbue them with these particular traits, because you think of them as such and such of a type of person from such certain place. Or, well, I could always trust a blooded da 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 kind of person. um, there are all these odd connections that are formed, and I watch people, including myself, just becoming so disheartened because they become, you know, connected in this way that isn't related to anything that's, I want to use the word real, um, in terms of it being based on not having an advantage of any kind, having it be a connection where it's not self-seeking, or it's not, you know, where you're directing the answer to be where you want it to be, um, some kind of a validation or anything like that. And the more that I see people ingrain themselves, just really digging their heels into, well, they were my this such and such type of person, friend, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They should never have done such and such and such and such. And that the more that you devote yourself to that kind of thinking, in terms of expecting to be respected, or um, you know wanting to maintain a particular advantage that you perceive, instead of thinking of the other person first. um, they're just different forms of unforgiveness, and I think they also present sort of, they come out of a sense of a fear base, and, it, and it's not something palatable, but it's just sort of a trying to be in control and keep yourself safe over situations or people, or whatever the case may be, that people will trace their steps back and they'll trace their words back and think, oh, if I had only done this, or why did I say that, or if I just hadn't, gone such and such a place that one day. And that people are trying to avoid calamity, um, the worst thing of all, whatever that might be, right? And yet, there was a quote I was just reading the other day about how if we knew how much negative things built us up, we would, pain rather, what it provides for us, we would beg for that. Um, and yet I joked with a friend, we shan't test that, shall we? It's like we've had enough in our lives to distract us, right? Um, but those things, I think it's so odd because there's there's such a tightrope walk with that. If I had only, right? In terms of there is no right thing. There is no way to say. I mean, if I had gone by the right answers of the ways to do things, um, all of what I would have missed is is the content of my life. If I had actually done what I thought was best, I would probably end up being incredibly lonely because I would have, not extended myself into those uncomfortable situations, outside the comfort zone, things that um, have given all the color and spice and amazing individuals I've had the opportunity to interact with and um, love and just love life about. Um, and I hope that at some time people will stop looking towards, what was the right thing or what it is I should have done, or deciding what they want to do out of avoidance of something else, and instead of using those criteria to decide, throwing that out altogether, and letting your day be about um, just finding all these different ways to express your love towards people in ways that you couldn't say it enough times as you could express it by sharing your time with them, or just being interested in them, or listening to them, or thinking of something that might make their day easier, or yeah. So there you go. um, I thank you a lot for listening, and hope you're having a great night. Great blessings and peace on your heart.